You want me to do the intro?
No.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of From the Rough, America's favorite golf podcast here on FanStream Sports, presented by OrionGolf.com. I am your host, the only host, and the best host of From the Rough, John E. Gerber, PGA professional. Over 20 years PGA professional. How was that? Was that good? How was that?
I think I might record that and just play that for every intro. Yes, indeed. Welcome into another edition of From the Rough, presented by OrionGolf.com, as our absent host so graciously introduced. I think I like that intro more every time I hear it because it was just so spontaneous, spur of the moment. Gerb a little misered up, as we typically are during the live shows. That's just how it is. That's why we're from the rough and not from the fairway or from the green. Or from the First Cut. By the way, rest in peace to that First Cut podcast. It was one of my favorites. And now it's gone. Thanks, CBS Sports. Shattering my dreams. But welcome to all of you listeners that used to listen to the First Cut podcast over at CBS Sports. You're welcome to our show. We're not those CBS Sports names, but I think we've got just as much knowledge and insight. We're inside the ropes. We've got a former player with us. I am solo today, in case you haven't been able to tell, as Johnny is traveling. Golf takes priority over the show once again, as it often does on Mondays with his PGA of America Midwest tournament schedule that has them playing on Mondays right now. And that's fine. We can fly without him. You're stuck with me for this recap, but don't worry, there's a lot to chew on here. Because what just went down at Quail Hollow was not your normal signature event Sunday. A few weeks ago, Kristoffer Reitan wasn't even in these PGA Tour signature event conversations. He was outside the circle. He was trying to work his way in. He was not one of the names that you circled when you looked at a field like this. But what about now? He's walking away from the 2026 Truist Championship with his first PGA Tour victory, a trophy from one of the best venues on the tour, and a career, nay, I say life-changing win that completely changes his future. Reitan shoots a 69 in his final round, finishes at 15 under, wins by 2 shots at Quail Hollow, and it is a monster breakthrough for him, in my opinion. Not just because it's his first PGA Tour win, but because of where it happened, who he beat, and because of what it means going forward. This wasn't just some soft field, opposite field event, that we get, that I complain about all the time, where you just are likely to have first-time winners, and you're likely to have, guys that you don't normally hear winning, and they win those events because the so-called good golfers who qualified for the signature events are all playing elsewhere. That's not what this was. This was Quail Hollow. This was a leaderboard loaded with big names, a leaderboard loaded with dangerous Sunday chasers, proven winners, hungry contenders. And honestly, it was a weekend of guys that were looking to sharpen their skills, kind of hone their game before the next major. And Kristoffer Reitan did not blink. That's the story. He didn't steal it. He absolutely earned it. He becomes just the second Norwegian to win on the PGA Tour, joining Viktor Hovland, and that's pretty elite company, I think. Norway now has another PGA Tour winner, and Reitan's timing could not be better because look what he gets here. He didn't just get a trophy. We know that. He got some security. He now locks up a PGA Tour card, his playing privileges through the 2028 season. He rockets all the way up to number 13 in the FedEx Cup standings. That is all life-changing stuff. And maybe the wildest part about all of this is how it happened. Let's go back, because his run to this really started in New Orleans. He finished, of course, runner-up alongside fellow Norwegian Chris Ventura. That performance put him in position to be the first alternate at the Cadillac Championship. What happens before the Cadillac Championship? Jake Knapp withdraws. Now Kristoffer Reitan is in the field, and he made the most of it, finishing T14. That finish got him into the Truist Championship. And, of course, once he got to Quail Hollow, he didn't just hang around. He won the whole damn thing. And that is the beautiful chaos of professional golf. One opportunity becomes another. One good week becomes a better week. One door cracks open, and if you're ready, you can kick it all the way down. And that's exactly what Kristoffer Reitan did. Let's talk about the final round. He started Sunday one shot behind Alex Fitzpatrick, who had the 54-hole lead, kind of another guy I think everybody was cheering for. Reitan was in that final pairing, so he had the pressure right in front of him. There was no hiding, no posting early and waiting. He was right in the middle of the fire. And early on, it looked like the leaderboard was going to turn into a full-on street fight. Reitan birdies the fourth hole. He catches Fitzpatrick. And then immediately gives it back with bogeys on the next two holes. And that's usually where a guy that's going to be a first-time winner could wobble. Your brain starts moving too fast. Your hands get tight. You start overthinking things. Every glance over at the leaderboard feels a little bit heavier. You feel like you're farther away. Every par putt feels like it's 50 feet away. But to his credit, Reitan steadied himself. He kept in his game. The middle of the round was certainly not flashy. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't a highlight reel on every hole. It was just survival. It was patience. It was just staying close enough so that when the moment came, he was there to take it, and he absolutely did. He birdied 14 and 15, both from inside 10 feet, and that changed the tournament. Those were not lucky bombs. Those were not desperation putts. Those were winner's putts. Then came the real test, the Green Mile. That stretch at Quail Hollow can ruin a Sunday in about 12 minutes. You can be leading. You can be feeling great. You can see the trophy. And then one loose swing or one bad bounce, one miss in the wrong spot, and your whole day is gone. Reitan gets to 16, makes a clutch par save from inside 12 feet, and that was huge. That was the shot, or really the putt, that told you he was not going to go away easily. And then the final two holes, the full swing up, held up. He managed the danger. He didn't panic. He stayed calm. He didn't protect himself into trouble. He just played like a guy who belonged there. And ends up taking the whole damn thing. As we get into our grades here for everybody, and you know, for Kristoffer Reitan as the winner, is there any other grade you can give him than an A+? Absolutely not. First PGA Tour win, signature event, Quail Hollow, major names chasing you, playing privileges secured, FedEx Cup jump, Norwegian golf history. That's an A+ day. Now moving on through the field here as we divvy out our grades for the past week at Quail Hollow. The guy who nearly stole the entire thing was Rickie Fowler. Again, another guy I think everybody was cheering for a little bit if you're a Rickie guy. I don't know who's not a Rickie guy. But if you are a Rickie fan, Sunday had to feel electric and then painful all at the same time. Rickie starts the final round 7 shots back. 7. At a place like Quail Hollow against the field like that, you're not supposed to be in the tournament from there. But Rickie went hunting. He made 8 birdies on Sunday. He played the first 10 holes in 6 under. He birdied 14 and 15, and at one point he had the solo lead going into the Green Mile. That is vintage Rickie Fowler energy. The orange and blue Sunday swagger, the crowd getting loud, the leaderboard suddenly having his name right near the top, and you could feel the building wanting it. You could feel the crowd anticipating. But as we said before, sometimes golf can be cruel, and if you're at Quail Hollow, the course can be even crueler. He had a really good look at 16. He missed a 6-foot birdie putt. And then at 18, he misses the 10-footer for par and slips back to 13 under, tied for second. But still, I think for Rickie, this is a great sign. He now has 3 straight top 10 finishes in signature events. All of those things matter. This tells you that this was not a one-week flash for Rickie. I think this tells you that his form is real again, or at least close to real. And he looks like a guy who could be moving back towards the winner's circle very quickly. He didn't close it this time, but if you're looking for momentum, I certainly think Rickie has it right now, and I gave Rickie an A. By the way, if you guys disagree with any of my grades here, feel free to let me know in the comments, or if you're listening to the recorded podcast later, you can reach out to me, the show, any of our shows and hosts at the FanStream Sports Studio text line, 214-937-0569. Just tell us your name, where you're texting from, and then what your question or comment is, and good chance we'll use that on the next show, so be warned. I didn't give Rickie an A+ here because I felt like he had a real shot to win it, and he didn't. But from 7 back to right where he finished on Sunday, that's big-time stuff. Now another guy I feel like there's a bunch of people cheering for. And this is a tough one because Alex Fitzpatrick had the 54-hole lead, and the start was pretty rough. Double bogey and bogey in the first 3 holes. That is a nightmare opening when you're trying to close a tournament. You go from leader to chaser just about immediately. And for a young player trying to prove he belongs on this stage, that can spiral very fast. But to his credit, Fitzpatrick fought back, showed a little bit of what his brother has already shown us. He made birdies at 10, 12, and 13. He climbed back into a share of the lead. He gave himself a chance even after taking that early punch, and I think that says something about him and where he is in his game right now. The missed chances on 14 and 15 certainly hurt, but those are holes where the tournament was sitting right there. Reitan took advantage. Fitzpatrick didn't. But the big picture, Alex Fitzpatrick is showing that he belongs. He's showing that he's more than just a happy story in New Orleans. And, surely he flies in the shadow of his brother at times. But I think he is showing that he truly belongs here on the tour. I gave him an A-. It wasn't the finish that he wanted, certainly not. But after that start, I think the finish was absolutely impressive for him. No complaints at all for Alex Fitzpatrick. Again, an A-. So now let's get to Tommy Fleetwood, shall we? There was a moment on Sunday where it felt like Tommy might finally be ready to put one away on American soil. The chip-in birdie on number 8 that had you feeling like, is this it? Is this going to be the day? His body language kind of changed a little bit, and suddenly you're thinking this might be it. This might be his American soil win. But then the back 9 certainly did not cooperate with him. He failed to birdie on the par 5s. He made a couple of really costly bogeys, including one at 16. And at Quail Hollow, you can't afford to leave a par 5 scoring chance on the table when you've got other guys making those same moves. So still, I think it was a good week for Fleetwood. The timing is important with a major championship right around the corner. Getting back into contention matters for sure. Feeling those nerves again matter. Seeing good shots under pressure matters. Tommy Fleetwood didn't just win, but he reminded everyone that his game can still show up in the big boy fields. I gave him a B+. Now, I also feel like we have to talk about Cameron Young because Saturday made him look like a real Sunday threat. He shoots 63 on Saturday. He jumps onto the first page of the leaderboard. And that's exactly The kind of round that makes everyone kind of jump up and say, oh boy, here he comes. But then he had his Sunday, and that was a different story for him. The putter betrayed him very early on. A 4-putt double bogey from inside of 15 feet on number 2 was horrendous. It knocked the air. It can, and I think it did, knock the air out of his entire round. He then 3 putts for a par on the par 5 7th. And that's just brutal golf. You can survive 1 putting mistake, maybe even 2, but when you're chasing a signature event at Quail Hollow, you can't be giving up shots on the green like that, especially that many. He still had chances on the back 9, but the Saturday magic was certainly gone. So let's not lose the larger point, though, here. Cameron Young has already won twice this season. He's had another top 10 type of week, and the ceiling for him remains huge. But Sunday was kind of a reminder when the putter goes cold, even those elite guys, and yes, I think Cameron Young is an elite guy, elite ball striking for those guys can only take you so far. I gave Cameron Young a B. Again, if you disagree, let me know in the comments or at the FanStream Sports Studio text line, 214-937-0569. And then that brings us to Rory McIlroy. I thought Rory's week was extremely weird. And that's really the only way to put it for me. On Thursday, he almost does something bizarre by opening with 17 straight pars. Friday, he looks like the Rory who has owned Quail Hollow for years. Saturday, what did he do Saturday? Losing my notes here. On Saturday, bear with me, guys. Live shows are great. Bear with me, guys. Saturday's live shows are great. So Saturday, he had one of the toughest rounds, I think, of his career. And to finish the roller coaster weekend for him, Sunday he bounced back with a 67. That could have been lower, I think. And that's just the roller coaster. That's the most interesting part, I think. When we heard Rory explain what went wrong, he said he started missing left with everything. And then he traced it back, very interestingly, to the range conditions. He said the wind had been coming off the left, and you hit ball after ball after ball in a left to right wind. You sort of subconsciously start aiming left. You close the face a little and you try to fight the wind, and then suddenly the range adjustment that you just made sneaks onto the course. And that's such a Rory explanation because it reminds you how fine those margins are for these guys. Like something like that. Those range conditions snuck into his head, and he subconsciously carried that to the course, which is crazy for me to think. But that's exactly what happened. You know, for recreational players, a miss left is just a miss left. For Rory, it might be 5 days of range wind, a slight face angle adjustment, a setup change, and now a chain reaction that shows up under tournament pressure. Just insane for me. Absolutely insane. I don't think this was a disaster. He finished T19 and 5 under. And Sunday was encouraging, but for a player with his history at Quail Hollow and with major season expectations around him, it was not a great week for him. There are things certainly to clean up before next week, but the good news, the game, even as him describing his issues, doesn't sound like it's lost. It sounds like something got slightly out of sync, and he figured out what it was, and he'll figure out a way to straighten it out. I gave Rory a C. Not terrible, not great, just a little uneven for Rory. And, things to fix. And we will see what he can do coming up next week when we hit the major. We're going to take a quick break right here on FanStream Sports as Johnny is traveling and you're stuck with me right now. Just is what it is. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I don't like these live solo shows by any means. Don't like them at all. But here we are. And we'll carry on. I wanted to talk coming up a little bit about Jordan Spieth and Scottie Scheffler and their chases for the career Grand Slam and maybe how far apart their chases really are. Doesn't feel like they're close. I think they're really far away. I'm IndyCarTim. This is From the Rough. Solo today. Johnny's playing golf. Golf takes priority over the show. Brought to you by OrionGolf.com, by the way. Appreciate those boys helping us out. Head over to OrionGolf.com. They are certainly the go-to guys for anything to help you run your golf facility, whether it's a country club, driving range, muni course, whatever it is, in whatever area you need help in. Food and beverage, staffing, events, merchandise, literally anything. Management. They can help you do it or they can do it for you. Head over to OrionGolf.com and find out how they can help you and your golf business be more profitable and more secure. I'm IndyCarTim. This is From the Rough. I hate live shows. We'll be back after this.
Hi, golfers. IndyCarTim here. I want to talk to you a little bit about Golf Central Magazine. It's not just a golf magazine. It's the magazine for everything. Turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Head over to GolfCentralMag.com and check out the latest issue. Some of the regular features in Golf Central Magazine: the Golf Bachelorette of the Month, the Golf Bachelor of the Month, the Golf Cart Girl of the Month, Golf History, Grip It and Sip It. So head over to GolfCentralMag.com. It's free. It's the magazine for everything: turf, travel, philanthropy, and lifestyle. Golf Central Magazine at GolfCentralMag.com. We'll see you there.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to FanStreamSports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the J.P. Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. FanStreamSports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream. FanStreamSports.com.
Hey folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Today's show is brought to you by Tomstown, a premier craft distillery based in Kansas City, Missouri. Discover their award-winning lineup, including double oaked bourbon, botanical gin, and double grain vodka. Named the best craft vodka by the readers of USA Today. Available for online delivery in 40 states. Visit toms-town.com or their Kansas City distillery to explore more. Elevate your game with Tomstown, where history meets innovation. Please enjoy responsibly.
Orion Golf Management Solutions. Orion Management Solutions has tailored its service packages just like it tailors its approach to customers. Some owners need more supervision, while others need periodic assessment of their short-term and long-term strategies and programs. Orion can be called in to develop a business plan with the existing staff, or we can assist with the daily management of a facility or event. Either way, we make sure the client is satisfied and understands the direction the facility needs to go in order to achieve the owner's goals. Orion Management Solutions can help with owner assistance service solutions, daily course management, business plan development, monthly operations, or as-needed consulting services. Whatever your need, Orion Golf Management Solutions can help. Check out OrionGolf.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to From the Rough right here on FanStream Sports. I'm IndyCarTim. Coming at you on a Recap Monday solo while John J. E. Gerber, Esquire, is out playing golf up there in that PGA of America Midwest section event. Not sure what city he's in today. I think he's down near Branson, Missouri somewhere, maybe north of there. In between Springfield and Branson. I don't know. I'm not looking at a map. But that is neither here nor there, boys and girls, because we carry on. We carry on with the show. That's what we do here. Wanted to talk a little bit about, we're not going to get into, obviously, the PGA Championship preview, because Johnny and I will take care of that on Wednesday in full force. By the way, I do have Johnny's recap of his picks for you, as we often do on the Recap Monday. Johnny will go over his card, what went right, what went wrong for you. So that's coming up here in a little bit. But first, I don't want to preview the PGA Championship, but I do want to pivot a little bit to a storyline contained therein. Because I think it's fascinating. Look, Jordan Spieth and Scottie Scheffler are both chasing the career Grand Slam. And there's history between these two guys that go way back, in case you don't know, or if you are just a casual golf fan. Because a clip from the 2009 Byron Nelson Jr. Championship has resurfaced over the past couple of years. Scheffler was 13. Spieth was almost 16. Spieth was the big rising junior star. He shot a 62 and he won by 11. And back then, Spieth was the guy that everybody watched as a 16-year-old. Scheffler has even talked about that now. And look, these guys, obviously from the Dallas area, played golf, knew each other a lot, very, very young. And he said Spieth was always the best junior. He was always a step ahead. He was always someone that he observed and he tried to learn from. Now it seems that those roles have completely flipped. Scheffler is number one in the world. He's piled up wins. He has an Olympic gold medal. He has been PGA Tour of the Player of the Year for 4 straight years. The only player with a longer consecutive run in that award conversation is Tiger Woods. And that's just absurd. Spieth, on the other hand, has not won since the RBC Heritage 4 years ago. He's been fighting his game. He's been fighting results and coming back from left wrist surgery. But look, here's the great part of this story, I think. Spieth is not bitter about Scheffler's success. He's curious. Spieth says he wants to learn from Scheffler's success. He wants to ask questions. He sees what Scheffler is doing, and he wants to understand it better. And that's a pretty cool window into the mind of a great player who's trying to rebuild his career. And I think it also gives us one of the better personal rivalries in golf, because these guys are not just competitors. They play together outside of the ropes. They're part of regular money games with guys like Siwoo Kim, former NHL player Brendan Morrow, Tony Romo, and a lot of other guys. And apparently Scheffler is winning those too. Siwoo Kim said said Scheffler calls him ATM. And that's just kind of cold. That's elite golf trash talk right there. Spieth admits that Scheffler has the needle right now. He said he used to have comebacks, but he doesn't have them anymore. Which brings us to the PGA Championship, where Spieth gets another shot at the career Grand Slam. It will be his 10th try. The PGA is the one major missing from his resume. He finished runner-up at Whistling Straits in 2015, but since winning the Open in 2017, the PGA Championship has not been especially kind to him. And now the question is whether he can find enough form, whether he has enough patience, whether he can find enough good breaks to get it done. Spieth compared his current stretch to a bad shoe at the blackjack table. He feels like he's playing the right way, but the cards just keep coming up wrong. And that sounds like a dude who is extremely frustrated. And that's such a Jordan Spieth way to describe golf. And honestly, I think it fits. He's had some good stretches. He's had top 12 finishes. He's had moments where the game looks like it's close, but then there always seems to be one bad swing, the one big number, the one awful bounce, the closing stretch that just ruins the week. At the Players, he had double bogeys to end rounds. At Valspar, he played his final 3 holes at 6 over. At the RBC Heritage, he had a tee shot bounce off a spectator and end up out of bounds. It's been one of those kind of runs for Jordan Spieth. And the mental challenge is obvious here. He knows the career Grand Slam is sitting there. He knows only 6 dudes have done it. He knows Rory carried the same weight that he's carrying for 11 years before he finally won the Masters. And Rory put it perfectly. When you're chasing the one major that completes the set, you're not just trying to win a golf tournament. You're trying to become part of history. And that is an entirely different kind of pressure on a golfer. The strange thing is, Spieth might actually benefit from lower expectations, though. He's not going into the PGA as the obvious favorite. He's not going to carry the same spotlight Rory carried at Augusta year after year, and he's probably, he's probably not going to carry that same attention that Scottie will carry when he takes his first shot at completing the slam at the U.S. Open. And that could help. But he still has to play 4 clean rounds, and right now that's been the issue, I think, for him. Not talent. Maybe he's lacking a little creativity because he's down on his game a little bit, but the competitive fire is still there. The problem is it's 4 rounds. You have to avoid the disaster swing. You have to not let one bad stretch undo 3 good days of work, and that's where Spieth is. Can he keep playing until those cards turn? Maybe. Now, for Scheffler, though, the Grand Slam conversation feels very different. Spieth has the immediate shot at the PGA. Scheffler's first chance will come at the U.S. Open, and Spieth even said it himself. You would think the U.S. Open fits Scheffler's game really well, but that's the scary part. Scheffler's iron play, his patience, his ball striking, his temperament, all of it screams U.S. Open contender. So Spieth would certainly love to get there first, not just for history, but I think to get the needle back pointing towards him a little bit. And that might just be the best subplot of major season. Jordan Spieth trying to complete the career Grand Slam before Scottie Scheffler does, partly because Scheffler is beating him on tour, beating him in the world rankings, and apparently beating him in the weekly money games. And that's great. That's the kind of personal layer that golf needs more of. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, with the PGA Tour coming up. Just a fun subplot for us to maybe pay a little bit of attention to with all of it. The storylines this week, certainly Kristoffer Reitan is the story of the Truist Championship. There's no debate there. He changed his career at Quail Hollow, and he did it against a big-time field on a big-time course. Rickie Fowler seems like he's getting a little closer, maybe painfully close, but closer. Alex Fitzpatrick has shown that he belongs. Tommy Fleetwood found some contention juice at a very good time. Cameron Young reminded us how quickly a hot putter can become a cold putter. Rory McIlroy had a strange week, but ended up, I think, with something positive, and the whole Spieth versus Scheffler for history, for pride, and maybe a little Texas bragging rights is suddenly one of the most fun storylines heading into the majors. Now, Johnny will be back with us on Wednesday, certainly for the preview. But he sent a video this morning to go over his picks from last week, what went right, what went wrong. So let's let Johnny describe a little bit before we end the show of what was going through his head a little bit during the tournaments here this week.
Good morning, everybody. As you can see, we are traveling again. We apologize. Travel Mondays this time of year. seems to be what we're doing with tournaments and the PGA coming up, but we do apologize. But I wanted to do a quick recap of the big week in golf that we had with the one Myrtle Beach and with with the Truist. What a couple exciting events that we had there with, we'll start off with Brent Snedeker. How about Brent Snedeker, the President's Cup captain, Brent Snedeker, showing these young boys how to play some golf and get it done. What a great story for Brent Snedeker. And I think that really builds some momentum for the President's Cup, even though it's really early before the President's Cup gets started in the fall, but he's going to show that he wants some guys that can win, and I think it just builds a ton of credibility for Brent Snedeker being the captain and making his picks and these guys on the team. So good for him. I mean, that was awesome, and you saw the emotion that he had there. We did cash a ticket on the top 10 and Kevin Roy. So we'll jump over to the Truist. What else can you say for Kristoffer Reitan? Reitan, however you want to say it. I call him Reitan. Kind of set in the back spotlight of Victor Hovland. Same age, 28 years old, grew up together from Norway. So big win for Kristoffer. And if you start looking at the trend of the PGA Tour, this is what it is. These guys are hitting it so far. And then with some wedges in their hand, they have plenty of opportunity. So you saw that with Kristoffer Reitan, and what a great up and coming star he is. He's been a good player for a long time on the European Tour. Now you're starting to see the talent that is coming out. But again, look, he kind of sat behind Victor Hovland for so long. Victor Hovland winning the USAM, winning the FedEx Cup, winning a lot of tournaments, being on the Ryder Cup. So he kind of he's kind of set that back burner, but no more. So he's firmly in the limelight there, and good for him. We did cash a ticket also with Nick Taylor to finish in the top 10, but still an unfortunate, not a great week for us with back-to-back tournaments. So we did lose some this week again. So we are in the red for the first time all year, pretty much for the first time in the last couple years. But we have the PGA Championship coming up this week, and I'm really excited about that at Aronimink, so we'll be looking forward to that. We'll be making our card the next couple of days and previewing it on Wednesday. But again, great win for Brent Snedeker, great win for Kristoffer Reitan, and only great things for those two guys as a leader for Brent Snedeker and an up-and-coming superstar, I believe, on the PGA Tour. So, again, we'll be previewing the PGA Championship. Oh, man, by the way, sorry, we did go 2-0 on matchups, so that helped us out a little bit. But, again, we still had a losing week again. But, hey, PGA Championship this week, we will be previewing everything on From the Rough at 5 Central Time with my main man, Tim. He's going to finish up today. And looking forward to Wednesday in the second major of the year. Talk to you Wednesday.
So there you go. They're out of the horse's mouth himself. What went right, what went wrong on his picks. 2-0 on matchups is always impressive. I'm sure we'll continue those for the PGA Championship on Saturday and Sunday. Johnny will be back, as I mentioned, on Wednesday. We will do a full preview of the PGA Championship. It will be at 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern across the FanStream Sports family of YouTube channels, as well as at fanstreamsports.com. And then later the same day, wherever you get your podcasts, always available on demand at fanstreamsports.com. I'm IndyCarTim. That's going to close things out for us today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's kind of a rough live show for me. I don't like doing these solo things live, but hey, you know what? I'm here for you. And until Wednesday, boys and girls, y'all keep hitting them straight.